Welcome back to Regular Guys Outdoors. I'm Chris. Elk season is finally here, but it also corresponds with Labor Day weekend, so that means the mountains look like a used RV parking lot. Plenty of bikes and four-wheelers side-by-sides. So I link up with Andrew. We do a little casual glassing.
There on a saddle going up Pikes Peak. That's got to be 15 miles.
Yeah, that's a grip. We do a little gear admiration, check out each other's backpacks.
This don't weigh shit. How much water's in it?
3 liters.
3 liters. So the carbon fiber
kill kit. Yeah.
buckles. They're push button.
Then we get our bows set up and get our broadheads on. Do a little broadhead crosstalk.
Yeah.
The body was a different color and the collar was a different color.
Is it knurled the same right there? That chamfer?
And check out these Montex. He even saved a pretty penny getting that color. Dinner tonight's gonna be Missouri whitetail backstrap and some rice. This is my view in the morning. I'm on a little draw with some sign in it. A little later on, here's what it looks like behind me. Good morning. It's opening day. The strategy was we're in the area where I saw the elk on Sunday night and where Andrew and I came out and we reconfirmed that the elk are still hanging out here on Wednesday night. So now it's Saturday morning and the plan was there's the meadow down here where we saw them and then there's these draws and spurs coming up off of it. And we saw that they were coming down one while we were standing there, so maybe they were bedding up this way. So we're on opposite draws and there's a ridge between us, and so that was the strategy. Well, this morning at about 7:05 I heard a noise and turned around and saw a cow elk and a calf run through these little aspens on the back side of them. So they were only 30-35 yards from me, but they're kind of slightly over the ridge and through all that stuff, and they were moving. They had no intention of stopping. And they ran up and around, and I saw them turn, make a hard right over here and come around the top of this bowl and keep going. So the strategy was valid, and I don't know if they were coming up my draw, smelled me, and hit the high ground and took off, or if there's a person camping in the spot that Andrew and I parked and that I parked on Sunday, or if they were just coming kind of this way and then got spooked by the campsite and just picked up their pace. So I don't know what their original route was, but they were definitely moving when they passed by me. But that was neat. At least got to see them. We do some looking around, some active scouting. Then it's time to set up for the evening. So we're down in the top of the draw where we scouted the elk on Wednesday night, and I saw him on Sunday night. So we're at the top of it, up in the aspens. Right back there. Andy was sitting in some wallows down there, so he came back to grab me. We're leaving our packs, and we're gonna go down and go even closer down to the wallow. No luck that night, so it's time for some dinner. Andrew's cooking us up some steak and mashed potatoes tonight. Living high on the hog. The next morning, I thought I had some action right here. I thought I had something coming in, but actually I had spooked something and it was going out. I don't know what it was though. Well, it's Sunday morning at about 8 o'clock, and it's been pretty uneventful this morning. Yesterday was fairly uneventful, though we all saw elk yesterday. There's 4 of us up here, but nobody's taken a shot or anything like that. A couple of guys have gotten fairly close. Yeah, just kind of pretty uneventful. I think I bumped one out of here behind me a little bit ago, but it's not 100% confirmed, but there is a bedding area back there. We're kind of in an area that has less vehicle traffic, less access, so hopefully that pays off. I'll be meeting back up with Andrew about an hour, so I'm going to have a little snack. And drink a little water and see if I can't maybe turn something up over there on my way back to our link up point. We did a bunch of active recon and still hunting type stuff that day, and then this is my view for the evening. Well, I've been doing a really bad job of updating as we go. Right now I'm in the back of the baby snowflake, back of the Durango. I'm camping here tonight, and 2 of the 3 guys will be back out tomorrow morning, and we'll give it another go. Midday, we moved over to a different spot where it seemed like the elk that were in our area had pushed to, and so we were over here, and at one point Larry and I went for a big walk, and we came across a bedded bull. Larry saw him and drew his bow, and the bull jumped up and ran, and he hit Larry hit him with a cow call and another cow call and stopped him from running, and I hit my cow call and he hit his one more time, and that joker circled around us at about 60-70 yards in the brush, staying just outside of range, keeping brushy junk between us, and he circled all the way around downwind, came around my back, and I'm tracking him with my bow. And Larry's working up. He was on a little lower ground, so he's working up behind the rise of a hill, and I'm watching, and as the bull is coming across, Larry's coming up the hill, and they come together at about 20-25 yards. Larry draws, the bull takes off running, but they were face to face pretty close. That was pretty cool. So that was pretty exciting. That kept things fresh. Then tonight we all split up and went in a whole bunch of different places, and it seemed like the bugling activity was at least a little better over here. So we're gonna give it another go in the morning, and then I think we're all gonna call it good for the day, and then I'm gonna try to go to a different place to hunt tomorrow night. So like I said, I apologize for not doing a good job with the keeping up of what's going on and everything, but It's hard to carry this camera around and my bow and actually use this camera, because the bow, you know, you can't just lean it on a tree like a rifle or something. And then you've got the release on this hand, and it's kind of a mess. And as we're walking, if we run into anything, it's going to be close and fast, and so I won't have time to put the camera down and all that jazz. So a lot of times I don't even take this camera. I just got my GoPro on my head and the bow mounted camera. If I think I'm going to a spot where I'm going to sit and overwatch something, like if I'm going to sit over top a water hole, I'll bring a camera like this one on a tripod. But I've had dinner tonight. I've done some hygiene. So now I think it's time to roll out the mat and try to get 6.5 hours of sleep and hike up this big old hill over here in the morning in the dark. Early morning before sunrise. Now right here, we were doing a little cow calling with some elk, and then we ended up doing some cow calling with some hunters. But during all of that, this coyote came right past me, and he's lucky that we were busy at the time. Taking a little break before we do our next push, last push of the day. This is the getting away from it all traffic. Not to be confused with the getting away from it all traffic of ATVs, motorcycles, side-by-sides, golf carts, you name it. The mountains were full of people. Some of those campers and RVs were so tight that they were almost touching. Not sure why you would want to do that. It just seems like I'd have less people around if I just stayed at home, given that scenario. Well, I'm trying to make my way home because I'm going to get a shower, throw some stuff out of the car, check my ice situation, and then head to another spot. I'm going to head to the spot that I got my elk last year. So it's really hot down here in Colorado Springs. I'm hoping that they'll want to come to a water source, and I think that's still got water, and it's only one of a couple in that whole area, so we're gonna get back at it tonight. So it kind of seems like this weekend wasn't very productive, but I had a nice encounter with a bull when Larry and I were out. Everybody in our 4-man party saw elk and were in and around elk. So all in all, it actually wasn't unproductive. We just didn't get to fling any arrows. So guess you can't complain about that. Many a time I've gone hunting and not seen a thing, so seeing what you're after is at least putting you in the game. I know that up to currently, I've done a pretty poor job of documenting my opening weekend. It's really just hard to walk around with a camera specifically and then talk into it when you're trying to be quiet, especially when you're walking in trying to find them in their beds. And then when you set up and you're calling, you don't know which way you should point the camera, and if they do come in, you're not going to have time to twist it around, point it in the right direction and all that. So I'll do a better job tonight, because tonight I'll be in a static position and I'll have an idea of where they're going to be coming from. So hopefully I can get a better camera on them than just an action cam, but I'll have those on me too. mean to tell you what, it is hot. I'll try to get over there and sit in the shade for an hour or two before it starts getting into that prime time, but it's hot. It's breezy though. It's a dry heat. So it's fairly early, and I peek over and I see a spike bull coming my way. I'm in a no antler point restriction area, so I'm thinking fair enough. I turn this camera on, and then after about 6 minutes, something was coming in right hard on my left. So I draw my bow, and we'll fast forward this right here. It goes for almost 90 seconds. I'm at full draw. I can hear an elk peeing. Right here, I'm thinking she's going to start to wobble and fall. And she does not. She starts to trot off. So I put my bow down and go for the binos. So I can see her offside with the bino. She's only 75, 80 yards. I can see her offside. It's clean. Then she turns and I can see her onside, the hit side, and it's clean. Nothing. Nothing. So once they disappeared up over the hill, I cannot find the arrow, I cannot find where I hit the cactus, and I cannot find blood. I'm trying to follow the footprints and see if maybe she went left and there was actually another cow back there that went right. So I can't find anything. After dark, I go and check the cactus again. I think I finally found the spot that it hit. Thought I had this big gap right there, and obviously I missed the gap. Question is, where's the arrow?
Let me just say for the record, that really hurts a lot. And I hope that when I go review the footage off the bow cam that I can see the arrow tumble off and completely miss that cow. I watched her go away with my binos, and she was completely clean on both sides. Pretty sure it did. Pretty sure it didn't even touch her. If it did, it was like the side or something, or the knock. So it occurred to me later on that maybe when the spike ran off with that cow, maybe that wasn't the cow I shot at. So I took a good while. When they went up, the cow and the spike went up over the hill, and I lost sight of them for a second. And then they came out on the right, my right, and that's when I pulled out my binos and checked her out, and she was fine, because when they stopped walking, I was actually expecting her to start to wobble, and she didn't. She just stopped running and walked off. And then I could see her offside, what would have been her offside. That was completely clean. And then when she walked off and turned, I could see the hit side. So she's clean. So it occurred to me that maybe that was a third elk, a second cow, and mine ran off and I didn't see it come back out. So I went over there and poked around, and if she would have ran 50 yards and fell, I wouldn't have seen her. But if she would have ran 100 yards, I would have seen her. I would have seen her run 75 yards, just the way the terrain was. Everything went up after that dip where I lost them. So I was hoping maybe I'd find her, or find one in that dip, but no. So I'm about home. I'll go check out that footage, and I'll share it with you here and see what we see.
So I did review the footage. Here we got the shot. There's the arrow in flight. There's the arrow again, getting closer. I lose the arrow for a couple of frames, but then you see the cactus get hit, and there's the arrow going over her back to the right in the last 2 frames. And now let's just watch this and rub the salt in the wound a little bit more. Oh yeah, that really hurts. Now keep in mind, I know what the video shows. The camera is mounted on my bow, 3.5 inches left and 9 inches low of my line of sight. I had a nice gap in that cactus right to the vitals, and I flat out missed. Like I said, I was at full draw almost 90 seconds, and I was shaking, and I missed. I missed. Fortunately, the arrow disappeared. I can see it, and I caught it on film, because otherwise I'd still have a little doubt as to whether I hit her or not, because obviously I didn't hit her good. So having that on film really eases my soul a little bit, but it doesn't make it not hurt. All that bow shooting I've done for nothing. I missed such a short shot. That cactus was 15 yards. That means she was 16 at best. Her urine spot was perfectly parallel to the cactus, so she had to actually back up and go up the hill like that. I don't know why she did, but she did. So meanwhile, while all that's going on, I'm actually being surrounded. Because right here, a cow comes up over the spot where I expected them to come, and where that spike bull and the cow was actually coming. And at the shot, she's gone. So that's how my elk season has started in the first 3 days of the season. I'm hoping it gets better. Thanks for watching.